All right, so let's see. Still getting used to a few things, but I think the exercise of going through this every morning is helping me. Yeah, it's just fun to play with a new project every once in a while. This one's a little bit contrived. Like, I don't have plans to like use this. It's more just like a toy project. But in case you haven't seen the other videos, we're building a longest prefix match routing sort of routing engine, effectively. Will I use that somewhere? Who knows? But I have other projects that project ideas that are interesting in their own right, and so who knows? Maybe I'll pivot to those that I'll probably end up using. But it just kind of depends. This is the one that I thought was pretty well bounded. I have it's a pretty solved problem too, right? So it's not as if there needs to be a lot of thought put into how it should work in the long term. There's plenty of existing implementations out there that I'm effectively re-implementing. So it's literally just for the keystrokes. So let's see. This definitely needs some TLC. I was deeply struggling with a lot of things here, and I think it's because I haven't invested in naming variables in a way that allows me to remember what they do very, very easily. It just I need to continue to modularize it a little bit. Like, this check is horrific. So I think probably the first thing to do is just add some comments, just so I understand what these things are used for that I'm creating. This will return a vec of non-overlapping port ranges sorted in sort order. Returns error if overlap detected. So the point of this is, when we are doing our port checks on lookup, we're going to be doing a binary search, and so we need to make sure that it's in sort order for that. The function here is designed to return that error if there's an overlap, because then we sort of can't. That's not something we want to support, so we want to filter those out. I'm just trying to rethink how I want to do this particular bit. I think I want to break these out. Let's do this. Oh, I invested in music and didn't turn it on. Here. Let's see if this is the lo-fi generator was not jiving with me. Like, it was getting into my brain and just immensely distracting. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was like slow or simple. I don't know. I mean, not that this music is like particularly, I don't know. It's at least better for me. Looking through options for streaming music has been instructive. I'm also now keenly aware that drinking fluids on stream should be done with care. I think one of the last videos I did it really close to the mic, and it was just this very awful ASMR take that no one asked for. So apologies for that if you were on the receiving end. One second. Okay. So let's continue. I'm just going to try to break this up a little bit better. I might even put this in its own method. But I think another thing that I'm struggling with these streams is I feel compelled to like talk through what I'm doing, and actually that really throws me off. Having to like explain it as I go, that I'm very unused to that. It just puts me in a different headspace. So I might go quiet for a little bit, unless somebody pops in chat. It's the kind of thing that throws me off. But I do want to make this interesting. That's kind of one of the reasons I'm doing this. So candidate index is just not a great name either. Doesn't really change much, to be honest. I'll just put it in an else if instead of an or. Yeah, it's not even the least readable part of all of this, so. I don't think I need to do this, actually. I mean, technically, I should, but this kind of, I would expect, more or less guarantees that the index is valid. Yeah. Are we not handling that result? No, we are. Yeah. Yeah, both should return a valid index. This is kind of our index check. The only reason I wanted to check this is if it's, I wanted to make sure that there is something to the left. But this is not necessary. This will be guaranteed. The length of sorted ranges will always be greater than candidate IDX minus 1. Right? Yeah. No. No, that's not right. But I also don't need this, I don't think. I think the whole point is we're just checking. Yeah, this is not, what I just said is not true, but I still don't think we need this. Because I'm trying to say the length is greater than candidate index minus 1, which is... So this is, if there's a single element, then candidate index is going to be 0. And this will actually do it. This will underflow. So this is pointless. What was I even trying to check here? I'm gonna remove this because I'm pretty sure I don't need this. Like I said, my head wasn't in a great space last stream. I mean, it doesn't violate the test case that we have. Doesn't panic anyway. I can't think of a reason why I would want this. Because again, what you're trying to say here is, as long as the candidate index is greater than 0. Well, let's break this down. I'm gonna actually, here's what I am gonna do, just because it makes it more readable and helps me like understand what it is that it's doing. These kind of like very complex conditionals are really difficult for me to keep my head around it. So let's just not do that. Oh, I made another quality of life improvement for my NeoVim config. The inlay errors were like trailing way off to the side, and it's not part of like the actual text, so you can't scroll to the right to see it. I just had to shrink the text in my terminal to see that, which was not great. So let's just let's just duplicate these conditionals. I don't care about that, and I'd rather it be readable, at least for this initial pass. Yeah. Wait, what was that? Candidate input range and height. Oh, okay. I think this said IDX equals greater than 0, but I'm not sure why I need that. So this checks the other aspect. If candidate IDX points to an existing element, make sure it doesn't. Oops, I forgot to end this comment. Make sure it doesn't overlap with our. Okay, so candidate IDX. I don't need this. I don't need this. Yeah. And to be honest, I'm doing this wrong too. Like, there's a subtracting sub that I can just use, and I always forget the syntax, but it's something like that. What is it, usize probably? Yeah, usize. What is it called? I never remember the name of it. Fetch sub? I don't think so. I know that's a thing, but I don't think that's what I want. No, that's atomic. Yeah, that's an atomic thing. I don't want that. Usize. Checked sub, I think. Saturating sub is what I want. I just remembered it. Because I don't want to check. I just want it to end at 0. Oh, it's probably in here. Yeah. Yeah, saturating sub. Saturating sub. Yeah, I never remember the difference between like the name of that versus the other options that are there. But yeah, this is effectively what I want. Yeah, saturating at the numeric bounds instead of overflowing. Okay, so then this becomes a lot simpler. Yeah. Candidate IDX saturating. No, that's I need to do usize first actually. Usize. Well, that might still work. Usize. Yeah, it's not correct, is it? Argument 2 of type usize is missing. These are, yeah. Surely I can just do it from here. Yeah, I think that's what this was. I think these are I don't know why they use these as examples, but I can. I'm pretty sure I can just do this right on the candidate index. It's been a while since I did this. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, I was way overcomplicating that. My gosh. Okay. So there's that. And then, yeah, I mean, I literally just don't need this, and that works too. And then do I need the same thing on the candidate IDX? I guess I would need to do, yeah, no, not really. I think that works really well. Okay. Whoa. I'll have to look at that later. Yeah. I don't love the name of this. We'll just do that for now. And then where am I using it? That's something else. Oh, I'm not using it yet, so I need to. This is where I don't want it to be in the tree impl. So let's get it out. And then where do we want to use them? That's the question. Because now I have them. Oh, what did I call it? LPM error. What else do I want to bring in? Ordering, yeah. I haven't used Spectre before. I just installed it. I don't know how this works. Yeah, that's not gonna work, is it? Let's try the old way. And if not, then I'm still, honestly, I'm still struggling coming from VS Code. Like I'm pushing myself to stick with this, and it's just, yeah, it's just not. It's not. The muscle memory for everything isn't quite there, but for a lot of things, it has settled in. I'm really happy, actually. And I know I'm writing all this code by hand, but to be honest, I use like Claude Code for all kinds of things related to setting up my environment, and then of course, you know, like writing code when it's boilerplate. Like I do use those tools for sure. I'm not doing this like as like a revolt against that. It's just in many ways this is because I want to make sure that I you know, keep my specific skills sharp. But I've wanted to get better with NeoVim for a very, very, very long time. And not because it's cool, but because in every other area of my like computer life, I am extremely keyboard driven. It's just not with my editor, and it just never happened for me, and I don't even know why. But I've always thought that if I could stick with it and I could get the environment set up the way that I wanted, then it would work really well for me. But that's the key. It's like just screwing around with plugins and configs. It's just like I just don't have the time for that anymore. And so, you know, once coding agents came around, one of the very first things that I had to do is say, like, I want a NeoVim config that doesn't suck and I don't have to screw around with. So I put it to work and did a lot of stuff for me. I even had it make a cheat sheet for me. Maybe I'll do a video on that, because I think that was like really the best thing I could have done to get me out of using, you know. I know VS Code has like bindings and whatnot, but to be honest, I didn't feel like I was even using. I've never felt like I've really used my editor well. I've never really invested a lot of time into learning the editor that I was using very well. I just happened to use VS Code's like search and replace features a lot and things like that. But it was very mouse driven. So anyway, all that to say, I'm still learning some of the specific stuff that I'm sure other people, you know, take for granted or know very implicitly, but it's still new for me. But I'm having a lot of fun because, like I said, the biggest difference between this time and the last time was that I don't have a fear that, you know, the config will get into a weird place that I don't understand, and then I'll end up with an editor that doesn't work, and I have to use it for my job. Like I don't worry as much about that because I can just have Claude Code or Open Code or whatever I'm using. I can just have it like figured out, and it's been extremely good at doing that. Which is kind of ironic if you think about it. I'm having Claude Code. I'm having a coding agent fix my NeoVim so I can trad code. That's wild if you think about it. When the super intelligence really does arrive, I'm probably screwed because I had the agent do the setup of the old school way of doing things. Okay, so I think you can just do std comp, right? And then yeah, just like this is just the sed syntax effectively, and then I'll just end with that so that I remove it, right? Will that work? Yes, it did. Okay, great. I think I'll need to learn how to use Spectre for multi-line or multi-file search and replace, because that's, I think, one of the things that I was really wanting to keep from VS Code is the ability to very, very easily do find and replace across like an entire project. But this is fine for now. And then did I not? Oh, right, I haven't done that yet, so let's do that. There, error dot lp. Actually, this is a better way of doing it. Yeah, lppm error, and then lppm error. Perfect. And then yeah, I'll just need to fix this again. Okay, hopefully this will get a little easier to wrap my head around now. Okay, So I think actually, despite the struggles of the last couple times, or at least the last time, sanitize ranges is in a good place. I still have some errors because I'm pretty sure I haven't handled that error in the try constructor. Or really, I mean, I haven't done anything with the ranges. So I actually have, I've just ignored this entirely. I think the errors now come from the tests. Yeah. So this will be an easy fix because here I can just unwrap. Right? No field nodes on type. Yeah. Try.new .unwrap. And then this one, I think I'm already unwrapping. Am I not? No, I'm not. But oh, that's right. I wanted to assert on it. So assert. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just thought that would actually be a great video to put out. I mean, I have a lot of topics I want to talk about with respect to coding agents and the hype that's going on right now. I have quite a few thoughts. I just haven't collected them yet and tried to make them concise. But yeah, that's one of them. Is you can use these agents to get rid of the non-essential. So there's a lot of stuff as a software engineer that you do, and this is what a lot of folks that aren't in the field don't understand. They assume that all we do is write code all day. And there are some days when we write more code than others, sure. But I think when this is your profession and you've done it for years, that you, especially as you progress in your career, you find that a lot of non-essential stuff starts to leak into your day-to-day, and if you're not careful, if you don't actively try to fight that, then you'll end up your progress and your impact will start to decline. You'll end up working on things that make you busy, but they don't necessarily produce impact. And this could take the form of all kinds of things. For me, one of the biggest things was the amount of time it took to debug a problem in some library that I wasn't familiar with. Now, as an engineer, you're fully expected to dive into the code at any point, but it's also totally okay to use a coding agent to say, hey, give me a breadcrumb or two. I don't want to I don't even have the time to dive into a massive code base to debug a production issue, or maybe a customer bug that they're reporting that needs to get fixed within 24 hours. These coding agents are really, really good at doing some, at the very least, initial triage, and so using it for that's really good. I wouldn't call that that's not meant to be a non-essential task. Obviously, that's essential. But that's a task that definitely is aided by coding agents. But yeah, there are plenty of tasks that as a software engineer you might put on your own plate that just don't need to be done, and it's a challenge to continue to make sure that what you're working on, what you're actually spending your time on from a day-to-day, is truly what you want to spend your time on. Time is a very limited and dwindling resource, especially the older you get. If you have kids, you have a family, especially. But regardless of your life circumstances, it's just a natural part of progressing in your career and in your life. And so, for me, the one of the most encouraging uses for these agents is not necessarily that I want it to write all my code for me. It's can it at a broader level, can it help me with getting rid of the non-essential? That's the big thing. I'll give an example. Like a lot of times, you know, I'll want to write code by hand because I don't necessarily know how I want it to work. Like for me, writing code is how I figure some of those more complex challenges out. And so I wouldn't want a coding agent to do that because I haven't gone through the steps of how my brain works for actually solving that problem. And maybe other people's brains work differently, but for me that's just how my brain works. On the other hand, there are plenty of changes that are just absolutely boilerplate. Like at work, we have a versioned API of sorts. I should say that every once in a while we need to add a field to the API payload, and it's there's a ton of there's a ton of various files that need to be updated when you want to release a new version, and it's all very very boilerplate, very predictable. And I have absolutely no problem letting a coding agent do that. Why? Because it allows me to save the time that I would have spent manually editing all those files like I'd done 20 times before, and instead just let the coding agent solve that. I can even give it prior commits where I'm like, hey, this is how it was done in the last version. Do it basically the exact same way, but for this new version. And it's very good at doing that. I have no problems whatsoever letting a coding agent take on those tasks because, again, that's a non-essential task for me. Like, it needs to be done, but it's not something that when I say essential, I mean, should I dedicate my best time, my best hours, and best energy of the day to this task? And for that task, the answer is definitely no. So yeah, coding agents for that, really good. Coding agents for getting my NeoVim config in the right place, totally fine. I have no ego around. Whether or not my NeoVim config is artisanally crafted by me. It's just not. It's not essential to me doing that task. It needs to be good. Like, I need that config to be good. But in terms of, do I spend my time on that? No. Claude Code, let it rip. So that's I think part of my central thesis for coding agents is if you're using it to reclaim some of your time and energy for focusing on that which is most essential, then I think you're in a pretty good place. All right, I'm going to get off my soapbox now. Where did I leave this? Oh yeah, so is there... I guess I don't really need this either. Yeah, I just had that in there temporarily. And I mean, of course, these are overlapping. Yeah, sure. Okay. I've also decided not to do this. I think I mentioned when I added this in the stream. Just use IPNet, which is kind of cheating a little bit. I mean, one of the reasons that I'm doing this by hand is so that I can actually go through this and learn how it's done. I know IPNet has its own like LPM implementation, so I'm kind of cheating by using its prefix type. But I don't think it's cheating. Not for my purposes. Do I need to do anything here? This is the insertion logic. Probably, but I think this is the next thing that I need to fix is actually get these ranges in place. Because right now the entries, like this won't work. Or rather the lookup won't work. Yeah, this right now on insertion, we're just inserting the port ranges as we were given them. We're not using the sanitized versions. Yeah, probably just need to construct a new port range, right? Yeah. I don't even know. Prefix. Oh, is that it? Okay, sure. And then port ranges. Aha. But good news for us, we've already done that, so there you go. Great. Yeah, so need to check the port ranges for overlap first. Yep, I've done that. Cool. So then, and this is I wrote this comment before I realized what this was. So this I have to clone because port ranges is the port ranges themselves, they're copy, but they are in a vec, which is not copy. So at the moment, I need to do this, and I don't think I want to figure out a better way right now, because this is just on insert. So yeah, something to think about later, but I'm not too worried about that right now. I'd rather just get it done. I'm a big fan of doing the naive approach first, and unless you know it's like stupid, like unless you know that it's going to be a huge problem, but I don't think this will be. Just like this is on insertion, this isn't lookup, and I'm optimizing for lookup, at least at the moment. You want to traverse only if we have more iterations to go. Could be that we've gotten to the end of our prefix len and the node already exists and just needs a route attached to it. Am I not handling this already? It's been a long time since I looked at this. Like I forget even like where I left off with this. Yeah, I think I haven't done this yet. I think I understand what I was saying there. So here we probably want to do a check. I'm gonna be okay with a little bit more And we're always allocating a new node before we traverse into it, and only if we know we need more. So if is final node, then there will be a node already, and the current node index will be valid. So let's assume that. Yeah. Right. Where am I even using route? Oh. Yeah, I'm allocating it. Allocate a new node, link it to the current node. Wait, why am I doing this? Oh, this isn't even right. This isn't even right as it is right now because I'm allocating it for the next. Yeah, this is actually wrong. Because what this is saying is if I equals, if we are already at the end node, then I'm allocating a new one as a child for this node, and I don't think that's correct. I really do need a lookup unit test. I need to finish the lookup. Well, actually, I don't think I've even implemented it, have I? No, I haven't even done that. So yeah, I'm kind of guessing. Well, I'm pretty sure this is wrong, but I need to finish implementing the lookup functionality to know for sure. But I am gonna change this because this is not aligned with what I need, the changes I need to make for this comment, but it's also just this logic I think is just wrong. So let's say if we are at actually the final node, I'll just leave that as is for now. We do want to allocate a route and set it on the current node actually. Self.nodes cur node equals, there we go. And then just a quick note. Do we need to do anything if there's already a route here? What? No route found enum node. Oh. Dot route. Okay. And then I think we can probably return here, right? I think. I'm going to say yes for now. We aren't at the final, so just Yep. So I have now, I think, satisfactorily completed that. Cur node equals the IDX of next node, which is, where does that come from? Oh, it's this. So next node. Right, next node. And no, we don't want to insert a route. We don't want to insert a route at all. And so that means here, we want to pass none to that. And actually, given that logic now that I know that that's how I want it to work, I probably don't want to have a route param for node because I'm always going to pass it as none and set it after the fact. That's the way it currently works now. Is the route will always be empty when it's created, and then I'll just set it once I'm actually at that I only set the route once I've traversed into it. I don't set it preemptively, which is how I think I was trying to get it to work last time, previously rather. But I think the logic was wrong. I was doing it a step too early. So allocate a new node and link it to the current node. I think that's right. I can probably duplicate some of this, but I'd rather just keep it for now so that we can add a test for this. Add current node to the new child we just created. I don't need this. Okay. Before I over-optimize that too much, I think the next thing, and probably the last thing for this stream, is to implement lookup. And actually, I'm not sure if I even want to do that. I have a few other things I want to do this morning. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I want to get into the lookup today. I think probably the next stream I'll do that, and I might even, as part of that, bring in IPNet. Yeah. Yeah. The key, the trick though, is gonna be the this won't overly simplify, but oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I thought about this too. This is gonna be in a config file anyway. I think originally I was trying to get all of the information about the route and the port ranges on one line so that I could, you know, do some like for really big config files, I could read it in parallel. So I could do sort of like a few different threads doing insertions, but it's like that's way extra at least at the moment. So I think for simplicity, what I'll do actually is I will bring in IPNet for the prefix in particular, but I think I'll just make this a. I think the next thing I'll do is bring in like a YAML, like the SERDI YAML, and just have this all from a YAML config. And that way the prefix is its own field and the port ranges are their own field, and it's just it's a lot easier to read certainly, and then I don't need any of this splitting logic. Not that I was happy with it in the first place, but yeah, this is not something I would call essential. So. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna call it with that. I have other things I want to do. If you have been watching, thank you so much, and yeah, we'll see you on the next stream. Thank you.